and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Welcome to my 2023 Houseplant Tour. This is a corner of my dining room where I have a lot of plants growing, as you can see. I also have my Alden grow lamp from Gardener Supply that's giving the plants a little extra light as well. I usually during the day also have the blinds open, but I don't have them open right now because of the glare for filming here. But that gives also some extra light, although it is northern exposure, so it's not as much light as like a southern or eastern window. So that little extra full spectrum lighting here really helps the plants. You'll see my big croton there. I just love that croton. And then also too, we have above that, those two paintings there are by my daughter, who's very talented, as you can see, and they look really nice here with this whole collection of plants as well. And then in the foreground there, in the very front, you'll see a Dracaena right there. So that's another really pretty plant. And then another Dracaena over to the left in front of the window. That's a corn plant. And if you've seen the videos on the pH revival, that plant there is the plant that was revived that was having a pH problem. And now, as you can see, it's looking really, really good. So that one is really happy there. The Dracaenas, as I've mentioned in videos about them, the nice thing about them is that they only need a medium light to do really well in your house. So as you can see, that corn plant is thriving. Okay, so over there in the corner against the wall is a Ficus elastica, a rubber tree plant. And then to the right a little bit is actually Henry. He is right in front of that little wooden inset there. You can see a little bit of his leaves. So he is the Ficus elastica rubber tree plant that I saved from root rot, that's in my root rot playlist series. So he's doing really well too, and he's getting almost as tall as the other rubber tree to the left of him in the corner. Then we have also there in front another Dracaena sticking out of that container there, the bigger container there. And then behind that, I also have a ZZ plant. And let's see, let's go in, move in a little bit. You can see a little bit more there. So the ZZ plant is behind that Dracaena, so a little bit hidden. I'm going to go back out again now. That container actually underneath there, where I have all the plants coming out of it, actually was a cooler for, you can put ice in it and put drinks in it when you have a party. But what I ended up doing is using it for a planter, which happens with a lot. That anything that looks like, oh, that will hold a plant, it'll end up holding a plant in my house. And I guess at some point, if I do need it, I'll take it out or I'll just use a cooler. So that shows you that there. Seeing what else is in the shot here. We have over to your left of that container I was just talking about, some more plants. There's a Ficus benjamina in there as well. And then I have, it looks like that's about it. So just give you a good little view of this corner here. Oh, and hanging, if you look in the middle there, next to the right of your right of that curtain, you'll see one of my ivies growing. So that's growing out of actually out of a gourd. I have it growing out of a gourd up there. So see, give you a little view, a little higher view there. It's in a plastic pot, but the gourd there is holding it up, so which is kind of cool. So that gives you that view as well. So, and I do have a video on keeping ivy alive in your house, which isn't always easy, but it can be done. That one's been up there for a few years now. So there you go with that. And so that gives you a good look at everything here and see all the different plants and how they're doing. So that section of my dining room, which is where I do a lot of my taping as well. So that is to your right when you see my other videos. This is another corner of my dining room. This is a western facing exposure. The dining room sits on a northwest corner. And because of the fact that it is western facing, and I am in Southern California, in the summer months and fall months, we have a lot of bright, really hot, bright light. In the afternoons, I do have to watch the plants in this area and do have to pull the blinds usually later in the afternoon. But other than that, I keep them open. Don't have them open now because I'm taping, because of the glare, but generally I keep them open so these plants get lots of really nice bright light, and they all really enjoy that, as you can see. So I am going to give you an overview of what's in this space here, and then I'm going to zoom in on some of the various plants as well. So in this section here, I have a lot of Dracaenas. Dracaenas do like a medium bright. They can go anywhere from a low to a medium bright light. So you can see they do like it here. I've got one to the left there, right in front of the window, and then another one in front of the window, a little bit to the right behind the palm there. So that's a Parlor Palm there, and that Parlor Palm is very happy in the light as well. In front of the Parlor Palm, you will see a Hoya australis. So that's a Australian Hoya, which is a really cool plant. It has unlike a lot of other Hoyas that have more of a oval-shaped leaf with a pointy end, this one has a really round leaf, which I really like. It's a really fun plant. In the middle there, you'll see a little mushroom, which matches, the colors there match a lot of my decor in my house, especially in this area of my house, in the dining room in particular. To the right of the palm tree there, there's another Dracaena packed in, peeking out from behind, beside the palm tree, and then to the right of that, we have a philodendron scandens, so the heartleaf philodendron, a really big one there, hanging there, as you can see. And then going back over to the left, I have on the glass there, on the blue glass there, I have a Chinese money plant. Behind that, a Sansevieria, and then in the foreground here, more you can see a polka dotty croton, the yellow splotches on it. I love that croton. And as well as in front of that, you can see a little bit is a ZZ plant, and then there's a little bit more in there too. So I am going to stop for a second here, and I am going to zoom in on some areas so you can get closer looks as well. Oh, and before I go, there is to the right there, to your very right, so that is another, what they call another money plant, but it is a different one than the other one that you saw. So the one, the other money tree, it's actually a Pakira Aquatica. So that, that one you can also see. Okay, so this is a close-up of that Australian Hoya that I was talking about. So you can see the nice round leaves. It's not flowering right now, When it does flower, I'll make sure to show it in a future video, but it's a real beauty, and I just really love Hoyas. I have videos on how to grow them. I actually have videos on how to grow most of these plants here, and whichever ones I don't have videos on yet, I will be adding to that. I have a very large playlist, plant care playlist. I'm putting a link below for that, as well as any other videos I mention in this video. So here you go, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plant, as you can see. Behind that plant there is a philodendron. There's a lot of philodendrons. They're real easy to grow. So you see that pretty heart-shaped leaf behind it. That isn't the scandens, that isn't the hanging trailing one. That's more of an upright grower. I do have a video on the philodendrons as well. And they are really, like I mentioned, really easy to grow and really stunning plants as well. So that gives you a little look at that. So here's a close-up of the pretty Parlor Palm. This Parlor Palm is in some videos. I'll link which ones I'm trying to recall, but I know this Parlor Palm has been in some videos, and I will link those below as well. And as you can see, we've got that, it's a corn plant behind the Parlor Palm there, Dracaena fragrans behind that. And then to the right, there's another Dracaena with the thinner leaves. It's another species, marginata. And then to the right there, once again, is that philodendron scandens, so the heartleaf philodendron. This is a pretty good sized one, as you can see, and it's actually hanging over a very old high chair that actually dates back to the 1920s or even earlier than that. It was a get a little bit of little bit more of a view there. It was my great-grandmother's, and we have used it throughout the generations. So when it's not, there is a baby now. I have actually 2 grandchildren. One is 5 and one is 6 months old, and so she is going to be using this very soon, but when not in use, it makes a really good plant holder. So I really enjoy doing that. Of course, have to be careful when watering. So there you go with that little section. Here's a quick little close-up there of the Pakira Aquatica, the Chinese money tree, the top of the plant. It's a fairly tall plant. It is probably about 3 feet tall, and so you can see a nice kind of a top view of it there on that on the little shelving, the little case there. Underneath its leaves, you can see it's that is the creeping Jenny. Or Creeping Charlie, actually. Creeping Jenny is a different one. So that's a Creeping Charlie there. And you can see a little bit behind in the background there also Ficus benjamina, and there is another Dracaena poking out, another marginata with you can see the white strips and the striping on the leaves. Get a little closer here. So you can see that, gives you a better view there. So, and then to the left there again, the philodendron scandens, the heartleaf philodendron. So it gives you a little good snapshot of that little area. So here is a closer up view of the table that's in the foreground here. Before you couldn't see the whole table actually. So what you will see to the left in the front there is a Peperomia, and there's lots of different types of Peperomia. I have a video on growing them as well and how cool they are. So that is a real pretty one. And then to the right of that is a ZZ plant. I love ZZ plant. They're so easy to grow and so fun to grow. So you can see how cool the plant they are there. To the left, behind that Peperomia, you will see a dumb cane, a Dieffenbachia. It's a real pretty one there. I really like the Dieffenbachias, how the white down the center of the leaves that's often there is just really pops so much with the green and the way the leaves look, and even the shape of the leaf. And then behind that, behind the ZZ plant, you will see that croton, the really pretty croton that I just really, as I said, love that croton. There's so many beautiful crotons, and I do have videos on them, and I just love just how colorful they are, and they're just so pretty. So excuse a little bumpy there getting to this, but you can see this, just that plant is just so pretty. To the right of that, you will see the Chinese money plant there, so you get a view of that as well. So this is behind the Dieffenbachia here. You'll see another Peperomia. That one is a fuzzy-leaved Peperomia, really cool. And it's got a little bit of a tinge of a purpley in there with the green, and you can see the fuzz on the foliage there, which is really, really interesting and fun and different for Peperomias, because there's a lot of Peperomias that are generally smooth leaves, but that one isn't. To the right of that is another fuzzy leaf, which are normally fuzzy leaved, and that is an African violet. So that one is has some little baby buds on it, but isn't flowering at the moment. Here's a more full view of that really pretty Dracaena. I just love Dracaenas because they are easy to grow once you get the hang of it. And the leaves are just so stunning, the strap-like foliage, and there's always some really cool variegation, color combinations going on. You can see with this one, it has actually 3 different colors going on. You've got the limey green in there, then you've got the more of a forest green, then you've got the white. So it just really makes a statement in your indoor garden. And the fact that these plants really, really they grow fairly quickly. If you're taking good care of them, they will grow fairly quickly for you. So they can make a really nice statement in your indoor garden in a pretty short period of time compared to other more slow growing plants. So you can get a nice tree-like plant out of a Dracaena in just a few years. Okay, so here in the last part I'm going to show you in this particular section here, last close-up. So these are some plants that you couldn't really see that well before. So you will see to the very left on the bottom there, that's the Glacier Pothos. I have a plant spotlight on that beauty, and short on that beauty. It's a really nice plant. It has the really good durability of a pothos with the beautiful variegation. It is slower growing than a lot of the other regular pothos, but it really is worth growing in your indoor garden because it is so darn pretty. So I'll give you a little bit of a closer up view there for you. You can see that there with the white in that. That's why it's called the Glacier. And then you've got the, of course, the green in there as well. So it's just a gorgeous plant that, like I said, is really stunning. I love variegated foliage. I talk about that a lot because it just really gives your plants, your garden, your indoor garden, the illusion really of like it's in bloom, like they're flowering because of the different colors. And that's why I really like to grow a lot of variegated plants, but also mixing in with the solids as well. As you can see, you know, I will have them up against, juxtaposed, for instance, over here. So we have there that Chinese money plant, behind that a Sansevieria, in the front here another Dracaena. This one has a really nice whorl pattern on it. Then behind that actually is another Dracaena, a smaller one, and then I have rooted a ZZ plant in the same pot, so you can see that one little stem coming up from that as well. So there you go. That Get a little closer, you can see it there. And you can see the whorl pattern, that beautiful Dracaena. It's just gorgeous. And like I said, I do like to put the green up against the variegation there as well. So like with the Chinese money plant, the dark green next to the variegation of that one Dracaena, which has white and lime and a green, so it has about 3 colors like that other one as well, and a little bit different on the top, as you can see, more white on the top, which is really cool. And also I like to combine different leaf patterns, different leaf shapes, so you see how nice that the Chinese money plant with that nice round like dinner plate look to the leaf next to the more strappy foliage, and also, as mentioned, the green as well. So really, it does pay off to kind of play around and see which of your plants look better next to each other and that sort of thing, because that will also make your indoor garden look really, really nice. So really it is like designing with painting, designing with fabrics and stuff like that. Plants they have the colors, they have the different forms, they have the different shapes, they have the different sizes, and even better than things like a painting or a piece of furniture or a vase or something like that, they are living, so they're always changing. So you're working with a tapestry, a beautiful tapestry, a living tapestry, which I really, really love too. So there you go with that particular section there, and you get a good look there. And do a little pan out here as well. So there you go. Here we are in my office. This is a table to the right of my desk where I have a lot of my house plants, and I work from home. I actually have worked from home since before it was fashionable and common to work from home. I have for many years worked from home. I'm a writer, I am a novelist, and also a journalist. And one of the areas, not surprising to you, I'm sure, that I write in is gardening. So on the table there, those are some of the things I've written: the flower gardening book, Reader's Digest flower gardening book, fairy gardening book. I'm the co-author of that. And there's a couple magazines that I've written for many magazines over the years, actually thousands of articles, and quite a few books now too. So 40 or 50-ish, somewhere in there. I haven't done a recent count. So anyway, I wanted to show you what I work with all the time, or work surrounded by all the time, and all the plants really inspire me. It's funny, there's some other writers that talk about going into their writing cave and getting things done, and I always say I go into my writing greenhouse to get everything done, to get my writing done. So some of the pretty plants here that you're seeing, and I'm going to do some close-ups too and show you up on the wall a little bit further in a minute as well, so you can see. To the right of that, the flower gardening book there, you'll see some leaves of a really pretty arrowhead plant. That one has a really nice pink veining on it, especially the main midrib vein. So it's just a gorgeous arrowhead plant, and I love arrowhead plant. I grow quite a few of them. I've grown them for many years. They're really easy to grow. They take medium low light, which is great, and can even do fairly well in low light. I do have a video on growing them. I have a video on growing many of the plants in the video, and links are below. Okay, so then to the left of that arrowhead plant there, you will see a really pretty bromeliad. This one is Tillandsia cyanea, orange, and I'll get a little bit closer view for you here so you can see that beauty. So It is just gorgeous with the orange and the mango, and I actually have mango colored walls I'll be showing you in a little bit here, so it matches those mango colored walls. I like to decorate, as I've mentioned too, with a lot of artwork. A lot of the artwork is my kids' artwork. However, this painting that you see to the left of that Talangia was actually, I was in Spain visiting my daughter who was on a Fulbright scholarship several years ago. And this was done by a 90-year-old Spanish lady who had all of her paints out where we were in Spain. And it was along the coast, a couple hours away from Madrid. And I'm trying to remember the name of I'll put a link below of the name of exactly where we were at the time. But anyway, I just fell in love with this painting of hers, and it goes so well with all the colors in my office here, which you haven't seen all of it yet, but my daughter actually calls it my crayon box because I have this yellow wall that you're seeing here. And then I also have two mango colored walls and a blue wall as well. The blue in that painting over there behind that to the right there, which is another one that I got years ago from a street vendor as well. To the right of that, you'll see a gourd, and I do have, and it has dried flowers on it. I do have a video on dried flowers as well, on how to make dried houseplant foliage. Okay, so then let's move back over to the left of that Talangia. You will see a kalanchoe there, so really pretty one there. And it has a really nice orangey color on it. It's behind that painting that I was just talking about. I do have some pottery to the left of that. I also like colored glass in a lot of my decorations. So I like a lot of color, if you hadn't noticed already. And I love juxtaposing houseplants, which are alive and vibrant and always changing and can be beautiful colors like you're seeing here with other items like accessories like pottery and even magazines and books and the color of your walls and tapestries and etc. So you can see that pretty kalanchoe there. And then I'm going back out a little bit. You will see on the wall, against the wall there, one of my coleuses. I love coleuses. This one has that, looks a little bit white in the shot, but it's a pale, actually cream in the center of the leaf. And then you've got the green on the outside of the leaf as well. And it's good to take off the flower spikes, but to keep the plant bushier, but you can let them go for a little while just to get the really pretty colors. And actually, if you let them go to seed, they will then reseed in other plants, which actually occurred with this plant a little bit over to the left. I'll be showing you that in a minute. So that is also something to keep in mind. That's fun to do. Now to the left of the painting I was talking about by the Spanish lady there, you will see what is commonly known as lucky bamboo. There are different plants called lucky bamboo. It's actually a Dracaena. It's Dracaena sanderiana. And this one is a nice curly Q one. I've got it in a vase with some colored glass as well. So you can see, I'll go ahead and go in a little bit further and then can pan into that in a little bit as well. So really pretty. I love them, the lucky bamboos, because they are really easy to grow. They also can be grown continuously in water. You can play around with what you put them in terms of vessels, containers to grow them in. And one thing to keep in mind when you do grow them as a houseplant in your home is you always want to have them in odd numbers. So for good luck, you need odd numbers. So make sure you have odd numbers. So either 1 or 3 or 5, 7, 9, etc. That is what they say will give you the luck that you're looking for when you're growing that plant. Okay, so, and I have to the right of that telangia, you'll see it's an antique saucer and cup, actually, that's handmade. So, like I said, I like to combine kind of quirky things, items, things that are, and I always put up things that I really love. So if I find something I really love, I find a place for it to fit in. There's a cool, you'll see slipper there to the heel, the ceramic slipper there, Cinderella's slipper. She left it here when she was visiting. So that is another item that fits well in this this little vignette here. As I always mention, I like to create vignettes. Here is above where we were just looking at, and this is actually the painting that inspired the color scheme in my office. So that red there in the, I call it a mango red, I actually had the paint store create it, and I kept going back and forth until they had the color that I wanted. And I'll show you the red wall soon so you can see. And then the blue, I have the same sort of blue, and then all the colors and the plants and different things in here going along with that too. So I really like that painting. It's actually pretty indicative of what you would find outdoors a lot of the time here in the Mediterranean climate I'm in, which is Southern California. So you would see a puncha cactus there. This is outside someone's door. You've got a vine hanging over the edge, and then what looks like geraniums on the sill. Actually, the painted into the door itself. So and that yellow there, I have the yellow as you can see in the surrounding wall. So it's a really cool painting that I really like. That's centered pretty much in the middle of this yellow wall. Now, to the right of that, you will see a really pretty pothos there, hanging there, and it is hanging from actually a wooden orchid box. They make orchid boxes you can attach to walls, you can put your orchids in, which I can do and I have done in that. And also now I have this pretty, really pretty pothos growing in there. This one has a lot of yellow variegation in it, so it looks really nice next to the wall. And mixed in there is a gorilla hanging from it, because this is pretty much a tropical theme in here too. So I do have gorillas, apes, swinging around in the trees in here too. Theoretically or metaphorically, actually there is one. He's just not obviously breathing, but it gives that illusion. So here we're over to the left a little bit and up, and you'll see in the front here that really pretty plant with the big round leaves. That is a ficus. It's Ficus umbellata. And I just love this ficus. It's really easy to grow, as many ficus are, and it just makes a really nice statement with those big leaves. Get you a little bit closer here so you can take even a closer look at her. So you can see it's quite a striking plant. It makes a really good statement in your garden. It does get a pretty good size as well. I'll be doing a video on this one coming up soon. So as you can see here too, this is next to, go ahead and go out a little bit here. Another great painting there that you'll see, and that painting was done by my daughter, that one. I love that painting. It is the same similar color as that mango color I was talking about. You can see that mango color to the left there on the next wall. And I'm sure you're seeing here too this really, really, really pretty croton here. A tree croton. You can see it looks really nice next to the wall and next to that painting in particular. So really does give a nice pop in that corner there. So it's And it's multicolored, as you can see too. So it's got the yellow and green. It's got the red mango-y colors, and the I like how it works with the painting in terms of similar, the veining on the leaves goes with the look of the painting. So really pretty there too, against with that ficus. Okay, so down below there in the pot, there's a couple pots there that you'll see down below, and those are, we've got a to the left there, the limey green here. Got a little bit there. So that the limey green, that is a limey green pothos. Then to the right of that, in that green and white checkered pot, is a passion vine that I grew from seed, and you will see that it's wrapping itself around things. It's growing into the croton, which it likes to do. So it grows around things that are around it. It's going into the ficus as well, hanging over the edge there. And that is, interestingly, so passion flowers generally you grow outside. I grew this inside, actually in my AeroGarden seed starter, which has a seed starter tray in it to the very left. I actually have some seeds in there right now, some seedlings in there right now. And I grew it in there, and then at the time, that was a couple years ago. It was winter here, so I kept it indoors, and then kept growing it in here, and then it just really likes, it really likes to grow in here. You'll see that it's even growing up, so it's growing up towards the painting there. It's just really happy in here. So I don't know when I will get it outside. I don't know if it'll flower in here, so I guess it's worth a try as well. It is on stake there, but it keeps growing other places besides the stake. So that's another thing that's happily growing in here as well. So right here is my AeroGarden with the seedlings in it. I'm currently writing a book on growing herbs for my SoCal year-round gardening series, so Southern California herb gardening. Those are zinger hibiscus in the back there. They make a really cool flower that you can then turn into a tea, and there's some other herbs growing in there too. So I use it a lot for when I'm working on books, and I also grow houseplants in there as well, especially coleus and other houseplants as well, from seed. This is all from seed. You'll see to the left there is a pepper. It's a hot pepper, chili pepper. It's red now, it's ready to eat, and we'll see how hot it is because they do need really hot weather, but I keep it fairly warm in this room. I generally keep it in the 70s in here. It will get into the 60s some, but then I'll get it back up to the 70s when I'm working in here. So these plants in here stay fairly toasty, even in the winter months, such as they are here in Southern California. And then it does get into the 80s in the summertime here as well. So that gives you a good view of that. So that's right to the right of we're above my computer, so I have a really good, nice view from there when I need to rest my eyes or I'm tired and want to look at something pretty, and I always see it in peripheral vision too. Here's a view above my AeroGarden and the paintings. You see I have a frog that's on the wall there, and to the left of that there's some butterflies on top of that mola. That's a mola from the San Blas Islands, made from the San Blas Indians. I did spend some time in Panama when I was growing up, and so that is one that I got there. So you'll see it's a toucan, and like I said, I've got a lot of the jungle theme going on in this room, which I really like and really goes with all of the different plants. We got a little star there hanging there. feng shui ball underneath that. That's above, near the, just about above the AeroGarden to get all the seeds growing really well. Just a quick shot here of, you can see the mango wall. Then they have that really cool painting that my son did years ago when he was 5, believe it or not. So I really like that. Of course, my calendar there. So showing you that, and you can see some, there's a frame there too to the right, in yellow that you've seen that wall so far. Okay, quick shot here of my life cycle. You will see I have a really nice plant hanging from this life cycle. I do use the life cycle, so I do move the plant, but I always laugh when I look at it because a lot of people will talk about how they got a life cycle or the Peloton, etc., and then they use it to hang their clothing. Well, I don't hang clothing, I hang my plants. And this is a hanging plant, so I think it just makes the life cycle look a lot prettier when it's not in use. And then you'll see a little toucan stuffed bird there on top. This really pretty plant is a Hawaiian spider plant. So it's comosum, chlorophytum comosum. And it's a really pretty one. It's got some nice little ball, the babies, the daughters on the end are really pretty. I'm going to go ahead and show you, give you a shot there. If you can get a good shot there. Let's see, not the greatest, but you can see a little bit there. If I zoom in some, so they're hanging down. That's the arrowhead plant to the left there. So just really gorgeous spider plant, and as I said, makes a really nice addition to my life cycle. And I do, like I mentioned, do take it off when I ride it because my knees would be hitting it and that wouldn't be good for it. So I set it down and then I put it back up to make the life cycle look better again. This is on the wall to the left of my desk. And this is another really cool painting by my daughter on my blue wall now. You're seeing my blue wall. And I just love this painting. It's a very interesting, kind of like a fairy tale, but everything's kind of a little bit different. And in front of that is a really pretty pink orchid that really does match that painting really nicely. And to the left of that is a ceramic that my daughter did when she was pretty young, like 7 or so. The painting she did when she was a little bit older. So really nice view there. And I'm going to show you what's below there next. So here you can see a little bit further down there on my desk, and you'll see the orchid again, and then there's a really pretty pink African violet there, which I'll go ahead and zoom in on a little bit. Really nice one with the pink flowers. It's nice and in pretty good full bloom right now. To the right of that, you'll see a doll. It's actually a doll from Vietnam, and I got that doll actually from a little Vietnamese girl who, when I was in journalism school here in California, I met her, and at that time there was a lot of Vietnamese refugees, and she was from a refugee family, and so it was pretty tough in her house. There was a lot of unrest, and she was only 6 years old. I believe she was 6 years old. And so she would come to visit me. So when I wasn't busy working on homework, I would talk to her and play games with her, and she really enjoyed it. Her name was Vaughn. And so what happened when they moved from the apartment complex that I was in is she came and she gave me this doll. And it was her doll from from Vietnam, which really touched me, because knowing that they had left their home, she was giving me something very priceless to her. So I've had it all these years, and she looks really nice with my plants as well. So, and I consider her Vaughn. I call her Vaughn. And I was, like I said, really touched that knowing that they didn't have a lot that they took from there, that she gave that to me. So I thought that was a really, really nice gesture. And of course, wonder how she's doing all these years later. Did lose track after they moved, but I do have this doll to remember her by. So the rest of the plants on this area of my desk here, you'll see a pretty pink polka dot plant. To the right of that is a really nice African violet. I like that one a lot. It's got the really pretty purpley color with the white, and the stamens are really, really dark yellow, which is another which also looks really nice in here. So go ahead and give you a little closer up view here. Give me a second. Without making you dizzy. So that one, as mentioned, really pretty to the right there. So you can get a good view of that flower. And then here's the other African violet on there. Really nice one. Huge leaves on this one. A lot of mine get big leaves with fertilizing, and then the pretty flowers. This flower, the white flower, is getting a little washed out in this shot, but it does have some really delicate purple accent veining on it, which I really, really like. So you get a good idea of that. And I'm going to put a shot, a photo here, so you can see it, what it looks like a little bit better without the looking so washed out, so you can see that. So I've got one more shot here of the door to my office, and you'll see a window to the right there as well. So this is a Mingarelia, the Mingarelia Fabian. Unlike most Mingarelias, which have very fine needle-like foliage, the Fabian has these big, beautiful leaves. So this is the plant that greets me when I come into the office, and I say goodbye to when I leave my office. And there's a really pretty there that matches very well my mango wall there to the left, a mirror that my daughter painted and made as well. And you can see here too, I bring all three, the three main colors here together in this view as well. So there you go with my houseplant tour for this year. And thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.